With accusations and more, this is Pro Wrestling Central. My name is John, and you're watching the Wrestling Report. Following her successful title defense on Raw against MAXXINE DUPRI, Women's Intercontinental Champion Becky Lynch said this in a video on Instagram.
Hello, I thought it was very important that I address the nation of the WWE Universe. Last night there's been some chatter about my conduct, as if I acted in an unsportsmanly-like manner, which I can tell you is absolutely untrue. In the match, clear as day, everybody saw it. MAXXINE, closed fist punch to my face, an illegal maneuver. Jessica Carr should have disqualified her. What's more, an illegal maneuver with an illegal object. I have verified this through experts, through nail technicians. They have verified that the nails that MAXXINE DUPRI was wearing would cause intense damage to the lip. Something that I said, okay, that's it. You know what? I've had enough. I'm not going to stoop to any. I'm not going to stoop to a level that is not my highest self. So I took myself out of there. I took a walk and I said, okay, that's enough. I'm not going to stoop any lower. And she wouldn't have it. She wouldn't let me go.
Going over the status of TNA's Mustafa Ali, Ringside News wrote that Mustafa Ali could be heading back to free agency sooner than fans expected. After becoming a cornerstone of TNA wrestling throughout 2025, Ali's current deal is reportedly set to expire at the end of the year. The former WWE star has been a major presence since joining the promotion, leading the Order 4 faction and delivering standout performances during his latest run, including at the high-profile WWE x TNA NXT Showdown crossover. Ali first confirmed his signing with TNA during an interview with Sports Illustrated's John Alba, and it has since been clarified that the deal runs through December 2025. Now, sources close to the situation via Fightful Select claim that Ali is weighing his next move carefully. He's keeping his options open, one source revealed, hinting that Ali isn't fully locked in on staying with TNA long-term. When Ali made his crossover appearance for WWE NXT, sources said the backstage reception was overwhelmingly positive. WWE Hall of Famer and NXT executive Shawn Michaels is believed to remain one of Ali's strongest supporters. That appearance didn't go unnoticed behind the scenes either. Word is that both WWE and TNA insiders see a potential path for Ali to make a full-time return to WWE if the stars align. While it was reported that WWE offered JAZMYN Nix more money to stay on NXT, she has denied this, telling Ariel Helwani the offer stood as it was. We went back a couple of times, like, oh, what about this? No, offer stands. I'm like, okay. No, I felt like there definitely could have been a meet in the middle, but after I realized there was no budging, that's where it stands. There was nothing that I could have done or say. It was just, any sort of a raise will do, and it was no raise. Nix also mentioned the financial struggles that led to her exit from WWE. In terms of cost of living and things like that, there's nothing you can really say. Cost of living goes up every year. You have to make a living. If you don't get a raise, you're basically losing money. That's how I looked at it. I just felt like at the time I had to make the decision for myself. Yes, it was a struggle. It felt like I was losing money instead of gaining. I was already paying my own rent. Being an independent woman trying to handle everything. You pay for gear, you pay for makeup. For women, there are a lot more expenses, especially in WWE. New outfits every week, being on TV every Tuesday. It was constant back-to-back costs that I felt weren't being covered. Nyx would even address allegations from Bully Ray that she does not have passion for pro wrestling, saying, "I really respect him. I think there's nothing wrong with what he's saying. Everyone is entitled to their own opinions. It's not like we know each other on a personal level, so we won't know for sure if that passion burns within me. When it comes from, yes, I played soccer and had a passion for soccer, and training I had to put myself through a lot to be successful in that. And the same with WWE, you have to work hard. I think just because my journey was a little different doesn't mean I don't have passion or building passion in the future of WWE, making it to the main roster. I for sure have passion." I think that was a little of a hard take, but everyone is entitled to their own opinions. And if that's how he perceives me, that is what it is. And that's what people do say when athletes come in. I've never been like that. You can't put your all into something if you don't have passion. The stuff I've already done, the work I put in both on and off TV, I personally don't think it's possible to do all of that without having passion or love for what I'm doing. Nyx's boyfriend would draw heat from the likes of Mark Henry for claiming pro wrestling is fake in a video on social media. Nyx even addressed this. So the whole point of the video, and if you watch the video, you can see that it was satire. He knows. I come home with bruises and scratches and a broken nose. Obviously he knows it's not fake. We have this conversation every day. If anyone, he's like, "Oh my, how do you do this every day?" He's the first person to put it over. His character, just like how there are heels in WWE, there are villains in reality TV, and he's a villain. So I think that's how people have to look at it in terms of that. But when he says it's fake, he says it's fake and then goes on to show in the video that basically it's the opposite. He's hitting the ropes like, "Oh my back. How do you do this?" He's taking bumps. He's getting his butt beat by me. So obviously, he knows that's the whole point of the video, basically putting it over, you know? After calling out AEW for Jon Moxley shoving Darby Allin's head into a fish tank, former coach for the promotion, Sarah Stock, would get into an online altercation with Brody Lee's widow, Amanda Huber. Now, she has drawn the ire of fans for quoting Vince McMahon. One user directed this post at her: "Call me a killjoy, but I think that because this is not to my taste, no one else should be able to enjoy it." Stock replied, "You all got worked. Your behavior is predictable." Each insulting, uneducated, ignorant reply speared the message that attempted murder in wrestling is dumb, and you all thought psychology was about putting moves together. Number one rule of communication: know your audience. Vincent Kennedy McMahon. A user replied, "You're quoting a rapist now? Because you got caught being a jealous ex and tried to pivot what you were actually saying?" All credibility lost to everyone but the most brain dead of anti-AEW grifters. Stock then said, "Ex of whom? Vince never raped me. He was cool AF to me." Another user wrote, "Craziest thing I've seen in a while, TBH." Stock replied, "Why is it crazy that I don't turn my back on somebody who's had mine?" Another user would post a screenshot of MJF telling someone to end their life, to which Stock replied, "You are more than welcome to request that I end my life because I'm not a pussy. Thankfully, I like myself and I like my life and I like Vince. It's not that deep and certainly not worth dying over." Another user claimed, "I know there's still a lot of people who F with Vince McMahon despite the allegations, but most of them won't flat out blurt out the quiet part out loud like this." Stock wrote back, "What quiet part? Scream it out loud. The dude taught me more than anyone ever will about the business. And I'm still living off his paychecks 5 years after. I left there. He was good to me. It's a sad state of affairs when loyalty disappears over fear of being quote-unquote canceled." Explaining how he owns the rights to his name, Ric Flair told Games with Names, "There's only two people that own their intellectual property in the history of WWE, me and The Rock. Hogan owned his, but now he's in a terrible mess with his family fighting over his money. Because I sued WWE. Yeah, well, because when I was dying, I was on life support for 14 days. Everybody cashed in. My agent stole 150 grand, because if I was dead, then it would all go to court, right? Whatever my will was at that time. Estate planning is very important, by the way, but everybody cashed in because they thought I was going to die. And then when I lived, I found out what was going on. I read the letters. letters. WWE was writing me letters, wanting me to sign them while I was assigning my intellectual property back to them. So I didn't sue at first. I just said, I'm going public with this. Give me my back. On X, a user leveled an accusation against former WWE star Andrade, writing, "Gonna be wild for me to say this. This is allegedly coming from me, but is it crazy to think Andrade may be involved in some Mexican cartel business or nationwide crime scheme? Something big is going on here." Andrade replied, "What? Tranquilo, amigo. Will everyone please stop making things up?" Of course, Andrade has been at the center of a story involving WWE contracts. He was seemingly fired by the company and shortly after made his return to AEW television. Since then, he has not been seen or mentioned on AEW programming. It's been claimed that WWE sent AEW a cease and desist, and that Andrade is under a 1-year non-compete clause, which would prevent him from making any pro wrestling appearances during that time. After announcing that WWE will not be renewing his contract on November 14th, but will be covering his rehab to take care of his Liz Frank foot injury, Ridge Holland provided an update on his health, saying this in a video on X.
So, just a bit of an update. Next Tuesday I've got to go to Birmingham, Alabama to have the cast cut off, some more x-rays to make sure that the foot's all good and we can go possibly to partial weight bearing. But the kicker is that prior to the foot I had a neck injury that I was going to get imaging for, and I got imaging for that post foot surgery. And I'm going to Birmingham also to see the neck specialist. So I mean, worst case scenario, I need neck surgery, and I'm hoping for the best case scenario, which is injections. But I'm having some nerve impingement which is sending pain down my arm, so I'm a little bit apprehensive about what's going to happen, because it's just another kick in the balls really, but never rains it pours. So yeah, I'll keep you posted.
And this was your pro wrestling news update. I hope you're all having a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see y'all later.